The music of GTA Vice City was the real soul of that game. It influenced an entire generation growing up, introducing them to some of the greatest songs and genres of the 70s and 80s. No other game has ever offered the same experience as Vice City, nor are there any games that were as impactful and influential as this game and its music. The neon lights, the cars and the palm trees made it look cool and unique, but the soundtrack made it feel alive. It perfectly harmonized with the setting and decade this game takes place in and created an incredible atmosphere that I honestly have not experienced in any other game. Every station, every song, every fade between commercials and DJ chatter turned that city into something bigger than just a video game. I mean, it's this vibe and atmosphere that genuinely made you feel like you traveled back into the 80s in Doc Brown's DeLorean. I never experienced the 80s, but after playing Vice City and getting addicted to its music, I got this feeling of fake nostalgia. Almost like I experienced a very condensed and highly stylized version of the 80s, but with the feeling that I was actually there. Without that music, Vice City wouldn't be Vice City, because as amazing as all of the pop culture and movie references are, as well as the extremely heavy Miami Vice influence, the game lives and breathes from its music. I mean, the very first thing you hear when you enter a car is Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, followed by Laura Branigan's Self-Control. I was a kid when I first played this game, and I remember how these songs, as well as almost every radio station in the game, heavily shaped my taste in music. I couldn't imagine listening to Billie Jean and not instantly think about Vice City. And I know I'm not the only one, especially when you consider that this game is one of the major reasons why there is so much 80s nostalgia going on within modern pop culture.
Friday night, Motley Crue may have a new, clean, sober image, but they still rock the charts with Dr. Feelgood on Night Track's Power Hits. Then on Nightflix, Boy Meets Girl, Boy Falls for Girl, Boy's Computer Tries to Stop It, Electric Dreams. It all begins at 11:20 Eastern on TBS Friday night.
The first time I drove through the streets at night and Out of Touch by Hall & Oates came on, it instantly hit me. The glow of the skyline, the rhythm of the road, and the echo of that smooth 80s groove. It all blended together into something I hadn't experienced in a game before. It felt cinematic, like you were in control of a movie that was writing itself as you played. That's what made it special. The music didn't just fill the silence or served as a funny little gimmick. It was an extremely crucial part of the game because without it, the city itself would feel a lot less vibrant, fun, and memorable. And not just the open world, but the game itself. I simply can't imagine or wrap my head around a world where GTA Vice City does not have its iconic 80s soundtrack because it carried a huge chunk of the game. I mean, even now you'll find hundreds of really popular videos on YouTube of people simply driving around the map and listening to the radio while overlaying them with some VHS textures. It's amazing, and I don't know any other game except maybe GTA 5 and some of the Mafia games that had a soundtrack as iconic and great. Certainly none that were as influential as Vice City. Each radio station had its own personality, its own little world. V-Rock made you want to go wild, spray tons of hairspray, and smell like cigarettes and women while crashing through the nearest billboard. Emotion 98 made you drive slower, like you was stuck in some late night heartbreak. Flash FM felt like the soundtrack to every pastel-colored 80s montage you've ever seen. It was curated so perfectly that even decades later, those songs still take me right back to that world. I can't hear Billie Jean or Broken Wings without picturing palm trees and that bright pink logo spinning on the screen. The thing about Vice City's soundtrack is how it made a whole generation fall in love with the 80s all over again, even people who weren't born in that decade. It turned pop, new wave and hair metal into something cool again. It made those sounds feel timeless and fresh. What I always found amazing was how the music changed the way people played. You'd catch yourself driving slower, taking the long way across the city just to hear the rest of the song. I was never rushing to the next mission, despite this game having an awesome story and gameplay, at least for the time, because I wanted to stay in the car and finish listening to the music. And just when you think a song is done and you can leave, the next one starts that's just as amazing and it pulls you back in. In my opinion, the Vice City soundtrack changed more than gaming. It changed how people think about music in general. It brought the 80s back with more love and style than any retro revival ever could. Even now, games try to capture that same energy, that perfect mix of sound and atmosphere, and none of them quite get there. Whenever I go back to Vice City, the first thing I do is get in a car and turn the radio on. The moment those synths beats start, it's like time travel. Everything slows down and it feels like I'm back in 1984, a year I feel I have fake nostalgia for despite never having actually lived through the 80s.